For years, the tragic death of R&B legend Gerald Levert had been shrouded in secrecy. But now, more than a decade later, his family is finally breaking their silence, revealing the painful truth about his death. What really happened? How has his family coped with this loss? Join us as we uncover the true cause of Gerald Levert's demise, the man behind the voice.
There's a lot of people out here trying.
Yeah.
But no cigar.
It's
But I mean, we got the bad brothers like Ali out there, you know, that
Hollywood.
killer.
Gerald Levert wasn't just a singer, he was a legendary artist with a voice that could really move people. His heartfelt vocals had the power to make listeners connect on a deep emotional level. Whether he was singing about love, heartache, or commitment, Gerald had a talent for making his audience truly feel the emotions in his songs. His music was classic, yet contemporary, combining old-school soul with modern R&B, which made him popular with fans of all ages. Gerald was born into a family where music was a big part of their lives. His father, Eddie Levert, was the lead singer of the OJs. Since his dad was such a big name in soul music, it's not surprising that Gerald got his talent for singing and writing songs from him. But Gerald didn't just copy what his dad did, he made his way in the music industry. He first became famous as a member of the music group Levert, which included his brother Sean and his friend Mark Gordon. The songs they made in the late 1980s, like Casanova, were really popular and showed off Gerald's unique and powerful voice.
No, it's better because you get to use your influence and what you do, because most of the stuff we wrote before were our songs. Yeah. You know, so we get to now do it the way we wanted to do it.
Gerald was not only successful as part of a group, but he also excelled as a solo artist. In the 1990s, his solo career really took off, and he consistently released popular songs. For example, his duet with his father, Baby Hold On To Me, quickly became a classic. Another standout track, I'd Give Anything, showcased his talent for expressing intense emotions through his music. Every song he sang made listeners feel a strong connection, as if he was speaking directly to their hearts. Gerald Levert was not just successful on his own, but he was also influential behind the scenes. He was more than just a singer. He was a skilled songwriter and producer who helped other artists develop their music. Levert collaborated with top R&B artists, creating songs with his unique, soulful, and passionate style. His impact went beyond his music, showing that his talent was about more than just performing. It was about making music that resonated with listeners. Gerald's talent for mixing the traditional soul music with modern R&B gave him a distinct edge. He paid tribute to the past while also staying current, which made his music enduring. This special blend not only gained him many fans, but also established him as a highly esteemed figure in the history of R&B.
Some days it's good, some days you just want to stay in the house and watch TV. Right now my mind is on a lot of things. I'm getting ready, I just released the album.
By collaborating with Keith Sweat and Johnny Gill in the group LSG, he demonstrated his skill in combining different genres to produce memorable tunes. But Gerald didn't just grow out of nowhere. Music was in his family blood. Let's take a look at the Levert's roots in music. Legacy of the Levert family's musical bloodline. The Levert family has a deep connection to music that has been passed down through generations. Eddie Levert, the lead singer of the OJs, played a major role in shaping R&B music in the 1970s with his powerful voice and emotional performances. He not only left a mark on the music industry, but also shared his musical talent with his children, notably Gerald Levert, who made a name for himself in the world of R&B music. Born on July 13, 1966 in Canton, Ohio, Gerald grew up in a home where music was important. He was exposed to soulful tunes, strong voices, and heartfelt performances. Gerald learned about music and life by watching his father sing and listening to other talented artists. It wasn't just about singing for Gerald, it was about expressing emotions, sharing stories, and connecting with the crowd. This upbringing influenced Gerald's music style. He cultivated a powerful, emotional voice that mirrored his father's passion, but had a modern edge that set him apart.
I'd see him. He would come up to me, just let me make love. It was a song that Jay's did a long time.
Gerald and Eddie had a special relationship that went beyond being father and son. It was based on love, respect, and their shared passion for music. Their bond was shown through their collaborations in the studio, where they created some of the most heartfelt R&B songs together. Their hit song, Baby Hold On To Me, became a classic, highlighting their great chemistry. Their voices harmonized perfectly, demonstrating that their talent was not just inherited, but something they worked on together. However, Gerald was not the only person who continued the musical legacy of the Levert family. His brother, Gerald Levert, was also a skilled singer. Along with their childhood friend, Mark Gordon, the two brothers formed the group Levert. In the 1980s, this trio was very successful in the R&B music scene, producing memorable songs such as Casanova, which became iconic of that time period. Sean added his unique energy and charm to the group, further solidifying the Levert family's impact on music. Apart from his close relatives, the Levert name became known for its outstanding musical talent. Gerald not only carried on his father's legacy, but also enhanced it. By mixing traditional soul with modern R&B, he bridged the gap between different generations, preserving the essence of classic soul music in an evolving society. Despite his soaring career, Gerald's personal life was totally the opposite. What were his relationships like? Let's find out. Love life and personal struggles. Gerald Levert was an open-hearted man who expressed his emotions through his music, which focused on love, passion, heartbreak, and devotion. His songs were inspired by his experiences and beliefs in deep, meaningful relationships. Despite having many fans, there were certain women who held a special place in his heart. Gerald had a close and meaningful connection with Mickey Howard, a talented R&B singer with a soulful voice. Their relationship was based on love and strong emotions, extending beyond just music. Their bond had a significant impact on both their personal lives and careers.
Oh, that's 20 years old. Gee, 20 years old. And they just did it on the New Jack City album. Thing, yeah. And it happened again. Because at the Image Awards, man, it rocked, didn't it? Yes. They got up and went crazy when we did.
They had a son named Brandon Howard, who also pursued a career in music. Although their romantic relationship ended, they continued to have love and respect for each other. Gerald had relationships with other women aside from Mickey, but he always kept his personal life private. He didn't like drama and preferred to focus on love rather than fame. He believed in treating women well, and this showed in his songs about love. He often expressed himself through his music, writing songs based on his experiences and feelings. Gerald had multiple relationships, but his children were his top priority. He was a loving and doting father who cherished his kids above all else. His three children, Lamicah, Cameron, and Brandon Howard, were very important to him, and he made sure they felt his love. Even with a hectic schedule, he always made time for them, providing support, guidance, and love. Becoming a father helped him find meaning in life beyond music. He aimed to not only be a successful artist, but also a loving and involved dad. He made sure to support his children, both financially and emotionally, making sure they felt safe and loved. His kids inspired him to work hard and create a legacy they could be proud of in the future. Despite experiencing love and joy in his life, Gerald encountered challenges that were not always apparent to others. The music industry put immense pressure on him, requiring him to consistently demonstrate his talent, produce successful records, and maintain relevance in a constantly evolving field. Although he had a passion for creating music, he felt burdened by the high expectations and demands placed upon him. He was devastated by a personal tragedy, the death of his brother, Gerald Levert.
You guys are the sons of a man I've known for a lot of years, Eddie Levert of the OJs. Of all the people who've helped you, who do you want to thank?
Eddie Levert of the OJs.
I gave you the lead. I didn't want you to goof that up because I got to deal with that man again.
Their relationship went beyond being siblings. They were also close friends, worked together, and had been lifelong companions. He still felt the pain of losing his brother, even though he continued to create music that resonated with many people. Gerald faced challenges with his health. The stress, long hours, and emotional burden affected him. Despite his struggles, he maintained his passion for music and love for his family. He expressed his emotions, joys, and pain through his songs. These challenges, however, sadly led to his tragic demise. The unexpected tragedy that led to Gerald Levert's death. On November 10, 2006, the world was shocked by the sad news that Gerald Levert had died at the young age of 40. He was found dead in his bed at his home in Cleveland, Ohio. Fans, friends, and other musicians were surprised and saddened by his sudden passing. People wondered how someone who was so lively, loving, and talented could be taken so unexpectedly. The news of his death was shocking and brought deep sadness to many. Gerald was more than just a singer. He was a voice that brought comfort, inspiration, and a sense of connection to those who listened to his music. The loss of him felt like losing a close friend, a brother, a son, even for those who never met him. Initially, everyone was in disbelief. Gerald was still relatively young, still composing lovely music, and still bringing joy to people with his charisma and wit. He had much more to offer. However, it was later revealed that he died from a combination of prescription and over-the-counter substances, causing acute intoxication. It was not intentional, and it came as a shock to everyone. It was an unexpected and tragic accident. Gerald had been facing health problems like high blood pressure and constant pain. He was taking medication to control these issues, but the mix of substances in his body ended up being fatal. He was not reckless, but the combination of medications unintentionally led to an overdose that anyone could experience. The world lost a great person due to a tragic result of trying to manage his health. The news of his death quickly circulated. Fans all over were saddened. His songs were constantly played on the radio. People reminisced about their favorite memories, and social media was filled with messages of sorrow and shock. The music world mourned his loss intensely. Other musicians, producers, and friends talked about Gerald's generosity, talent, and the huge influence he had. He was not just an R&B singer, but a source of love, emotion, and genuine soul. His father, Eddie Levert, was very upset. Losing a child is the worst thing that can happen to a parent, and Eddie had not only lost a son, but also a best friend and musical partner. Gerald's family, including his kids and siblings, felt a deep sense of loss that could never be replaced. But even though they were hurting, they believed that Gerald's memory would continue to exist. His music, his personality, and his love were too strong to ever disappear. His death made people more aware of the risks associated with taking medications. Some people are unaware of the dangers of mixing certain substances, even if they're following doctor's orders. Gerald's death highlighted the need to educate ourselves about medications, pay attention to warning labels, and discuss any concerns with doctors. While his passing was heartbreaking, if his story can save lives in the future, his influence will live on. So what did his family have to say on the cause of his death? Let's find out. Gerald Levert's family speaks out on his death. When Gerald Levert died in 2006, it was a huge loss for the world, but his family felt it the most. The Levert family has always been close, connected by love, music, and strong bonds. His unexpected death at the young age of 40 left them shocked, heartbroken, and filled with sadness. Eddie Levert, the famous lead singer of the OJs, was heartbroken when he lost his son Gerald, who was not only his son, but also his best friend and musical partner. They performed together many times, their voices harmonizing and their close bond evident in every show. Eddie never thought he would have to experience the pain of losing Gerald, and he could never fully heal from it. After Gerald died, Eddie talked to people about how sad he was. He was honest about how important his son was to him, how proud he was of him, and how hard it was to believe he was gone. The sadness was very heavy, and Eddie had a hard time finding the energy to keep going. He would frequently mention how no parent should have to bury their child, as it was a pain that felt almost too much to handle. Gerald's family, including his children, siblings, and mother, were also very sad after his death. They always saw Gerald as the center of their family, the one who brought joy, love, and music to their lives. His sudden death made it even more difficult to understand. One minute, he was alive, and the next he was gone. There were no signs, no time to get ready, just a terrible loss that left them feeling empty inside. The family was grieving the loss of Gerald, but they also wanted to bring attention to health issues affecting Black men in the music industry and beyond. Gerald had been dealing with high blood pressure, stress, and pain, and the combination of medications he was taking ultimately caused his premature death. His family hoped that by sharing his story, they could urge people to be cautious about their health, listen to their bodies, and consult with doctors before mixing medications. They believed that Gerald would have wanted his death to serve as a reminder for others to prioritize their health and potentially save lives. Even though they were sad, the Levert family found ways to remember Gerald. They paid tribute to him through interviews, events, and music. Eddie kept his memory alive by dedicating songs to him while performing. His siblings also talked about him, highlighting his kindness, humor, and generosity. Dealing with the loss in private was extremely difficult. The vacant spot at the dinner table, the quiet without his laughter, and the lack of his voice were all sources of ongoing pain. However, they were able to find solace through their love for each other and by listening to his music. Tributes to Gerald Levert and posthumous releases. Even though Gerald passed away in 2006, his impact continued to thrive. Fans, fellow artists, and his family joined forces to remember and pay tribute to him. His music legacy in R&B and soul lives on through posthumous albums, tribute shows, and ongoing admiration. His legacy was remembered mainly through his album, In My Songs, which was released in 2007 after his death. This album was a special gift to his fans, filled with heartfelt songs that showcased Gerald's passion and emotion. Despite his passing, the album was well received and showed that his voice still had a powerful impact on listeners. It received awards and connected with many people, highlighting the talent that was tragically lost. Other unreleased music and collaborations have been discovered over the years, in addition to the album In My Songs, helping to keep his memory alive. The unfinished songs were compiled and released to make sure his artistic legacy continued. These heartfelt songs, which express love, pain, and soul, provide fans with a way to connect with him once more. The music industry honored Gerald in various ways. Tribute concerts were organized and included top R&B artists who had collaborated with him, admired him, or enjoyed his music. These concerts were not just shows, but rather commemorations of his influence and impact. Hits such as Casanova and Baby Hold On to Me filled the venues, evoking nostalgia for Gerald's iconic voice. Radio stations kept playing his songs, introducing his talent to a new audience. DJs and fans continued to play his music, showing that amazing music lasts forever. Gerald received awards and recognition for his significant impact on the music industry. His family made sure to always remember him. His father, Eddie Levert, constantly honored his son's memory by talking about him, doing tributes, and showing the world how special Gerald was, not only as a singer, but also as a son, a father, and a loving man. Many other artists, in addition to his family, continued to show respect for him. A lot of people attributed Gerald as a source of inspiration, explaining how his music impacted their careers. His talent for combining classic soul with contemporary R&B solidified his status as an enduring figure in the music world. Up-and-coming artists examined his techniques, drawing from his emotive performance and strong emotional connection to his songs. Regardless, his name and influence remain strong. So, how is Gerald Levert remembered today? Gerald Levert's everlasting impact on R&B. Gerald Levert was not only a singer, but also a great storyteller who poured his heart into every note, making people feel love, pain, and joy all at once. His music had a unique magic that still resonates in the R&B world, showcasing his incredible talent and strong bond with his fans even years after his death. Gerald stood out because he could mix classic soul with modern R&B. He kept the tradition while making his music feel current. His songs were full of emotion, whether he was crooning about love, heartache, or personal challenges. Fans could sense his honesty in every word, making his music enduring. Today, his music still resonates with new fans who are just discovering his unique sound. His impact on R&B extends beyond his songs. Numerous artists who came after him have praised him as a source of motivation and someone to look up to. His distinctive singing style, full of genuine emotion and soul, established a benchmark that many hope to achieve. Additionally, his contributions as a songwriter and producer have had a lasting influence, playing a role in shaping the R&B sound through his collaborations with other musicians. His family has been instrumental in preserving his legacy. Eddie Levert, his father, continues to pay tribute to him through performances and interviews, always talking proudly about his son who passed away too young, ensuring that his musical contributions are never forgotten by the world. Gerald's loved ones still feel his influence every day. They remember how he was always able to make people laugh and how much he cared for those around him. Even though he is no longer with us, his spirit continues to live on through his music and the love he showed to others. His fans are dedicated to keeping his memory alive by listening to his songs, sharing stories about him, and acknowledging the impact he had on their lives. His music is still popular at weddings, anniversaries, and during quiet times, showing that his voice is still powerful and important. Gerald Levert may have passed away, but his impact will always be remembered. He left behind timeless songs that will be enjoyed for years to come, ensuring that his voice will never be forgotten. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe, and also click the next video shown on your screen